Hi there, my name is Diane, but you can just call me D.
Nothing to fear.
So today I'm back with my part 2 of my spooky reads of the year. Basically this is a video series where I just highlight the 2021 releases that sound spooky to me, that have been released all over the year, not just at the end of the year. I haven't read those books personally, but I just have heard of them and they sound really spooky, but not too scary. Hopefully. If you haven't checked part 1, I will link it up above. Make sure to go ahead and check that one first. I had a lot of fun going over all those books, and let me know if you've read any of those. So the first one is The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin, and this was published on June 1st. I think this is about witches that control climate, and there are witches that can control a specific season, and then there is an ever witch who can control all seasons. Unfortunately, with climate change, things have been really erratic, and it might be up to the ever witch to fix it all. So I'm super intrigued about this one because from what I understand, it is about climate change and global warming, and it's a fantasy. It has witches, so it's very spooky, but it also has a undertone of realism. Coming from environmental biology, this is a topic that's very close to my heart, and I really want to see what a fiction book has to say about it, and I hope that I enjoy it. Alright, the next book is For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing, and this was published on July 20th. And from what I understand, this is set at a private school, so it's really nice during the fall to have that dark academia atmosphere. And I believe this is about a teacher who really wants his students to unlock their full academic potential, and he will go the extra mile to get that. But parents and colleagues alike are kind of in his way. So from what I hear, murder is not outside of his scope, so it sounds really interesting. I also think that his wife disappeared or something like that. No one has seen her in a while. So that sounds really spooky, but also suspenseful, and that's something that I really enjoy in a dark academia setting, so hopefully I'll get to it. The next one is The Corpse Queen by Heather Herman, and this was a recent release. It was published on the 14th of September. So it says that it's a dark, twisty, feminist historical thriller, and those are all buzzwords that I like. From what I understand, there's this 17-year-old girl who is an orphan, and she has to go live with her aunt, who has a very lucrative business, but it's not so ethical. Apparently they are grave robbers, and so basically the main character has to help steal bodies to give them to medical students for them to practice. She also is really interested in attending some lectures, but there's also a murderer on the loose. So I'm very intrigued with how all of these will fit into one plot and how they all are connected. So it sounds super interesting to me. So I would definitely check it out if you're interested also. Okay, the next book is The River Has Teeth by Erica Waters, and this was published on July 27th. This is a queer paranormal horror fantasy. I know there's witches in there. Apparently Natasha's sister has gone missing, and unfortunately her case goes cold. And I guess she went missing next to a nature preserve that is known as the Bend. And this band has been used as a magical source for witches for generations. We follow also Della, who's a witch. So Natasha, the girl whose sister disappeared, goes to Della to find some answers. Turns out that Della might know who did this, and it might actually be her own mother who turned into a monster by magic that had gone wrong. That sounds pretty freaking amazing to me. It has fantasy, but it's also very dark. There's a mystery, and yeah, it just sounds amazing, sounds great. Add it to the list. Alright, the next book is Mercury Boys by Chandra Prasad, and this was published on August 3rd. So this says that history and the speculative collide with the modern world when a group of high school girls from a secret society, after discovering they can communicate with the boys from the past, in this powerful look at female desire, jealousy, and the shifting lines between friendship and rivalry. So there is a secret society, so I think they can see the boys from the past only in their dreams, but I guess jealousy gets into it. I'm not sure how this all happens, but there's time travel. It just sounds super intriguing, am I right? Right? It does. So definitely would like to check that one out. Alright, then we have The Dead and the Dark. I'm very excited about this one. This is by Courtney Gold, and this was published on August 3rd. It says that it's about the things that lurk in dark corners, the parts of you that can't remain hidden, and about finding home in places and people you didn't expect. So this is horror. It's also queer and paranormal and has a thriller aspect to it. There is ghost hunters involved. I guess they're in this town in Oregon. There is teenagers that are disappearing. The weather is really weird. I guess the ghost hunters returned to this town, and I guess there's suspicion about them. The girlfriend of one of the person who died can see her ghost boyfriend. She teams up with the daughter of one of the ghost hunters in order to figure what is happening. It sounds really thrilling, really spooky, and ooh, I'm excited about this one. Also, I've heard a lot of things about this book, so you might have heard about it too. The next one is Defy The Night by Bridget Kemmerer, and this was published on September 14th, so this is a fairly new release. Basically, this is a new fantasy series about a kingdom divided by corruption, the prince desperately holding it together, and the girl who will risk everything to bring it crashing down. So this is a fantasy romance. And why did I think this was spooky or good enough to be in this video? I am not sure. I have to reread about it. There's an apothecary apprentice called Tessa who, is tired of seeing her neighborhood die because of the prince and his brothers being so merciless with any kind of rebellion. So there's this sickness who has a cure, but it's really hard to get it as the moonflowers are very limited. Tessa has taken upon herself to go and steal this flower in order to make elixirs and distribute them to whoever needs it the most. Unfortunately, it seems that maybe this cure is not really working very well anymore, and so she decides that enough is enough. I'm gonna go inside the castle and I'm gonna destroy this kingdom from the inside. But when she goes in there, she realizes that things are maybe worse than they are. So that sounds really cool to me, really interesting. I like the apothecary vibe to it, and that's why I think I put it on this list. Let me know what you think. Alright, and the last one for this part is gonna be White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson. This was published on September 14th again. This is a newer release, and they say that this is the Haunting of Hill House meets Get Out in this chilling psychological thriller and modern take on the classic haunted house story. Haunted house? Yes. So this is a mystery thriller, has a paranormal activity with ghosts and all that. Marigold, the main character, moves to a new town with her family. I guess it's a free house that her mom got with her new job, but turns out that things inside the house are starting to disappear for some reason. A lot of weird activity is going on. Doors are closing on their own. Lights are turning off. You can see some shadows. You can hear some voices and all that. And her little stepsister is talking about her friend who wants to see Marigold gone. There's a little bit of horror in there apparently, so I'm guessing it's gonna be ideal for the spooky season. And I think it's on a lot of people's TBR, and I would definitely like to pick it up. Alright, that was it for part 2 of this video. Make sure to check part 1 and make sure to subscribe if you want to see part 3. Let me know if you've read any of those books or if you have any other recommendations. I'll be interested to check those out also. If you enjoy that type of videos, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!